Well, this will set you free, or it'll set me free, or maybe both. And I'm just going to tell you, raw video of me this morning, and all I'm doing here is packing up a couple of things, reorganizing, and I thought, good time for you to see who I am, or just like swipe through to the next one, because I tell a lot of stories right here. I'm out on the bike. I'm doing a lot of different things, but you know, the backstory is the bike and my climbing history and all of that. But the story is the, you know, sort of like the, what do I want to say, no means to an end, bike trip. It's my life. I live on a bike. And I was just going to show you a couple things while I'm here, and also talk a little bit about that. Like, you know, we'll do a little of my past and what I expect to do here, what I'm trying to do here. Always give the comments, and it's getting cold, so I thought, I'm getting a lot of comments on how do you stay warm, you know, down in the desert. So real quick stuff, not going through the whole thing, but the most important thing for me is my feet and my fingers. But you see me in these a lot, right? I get a free pair every year from a place called the Denali Mountain Works up in Denali National Park. Well, that stopped. Now I want to get them from somebody else because that whole program changed up there, and they have a different sandal, and I like Chacos. So anyway, I house set for the lady who owned it, and she would give me a pair, really. Every year, there's the pair I haven't worn yet. But why do I wear those on my bike? And that's the big question always. And I didn't think I ever would, and I haven't worn anything else in, oh shoot, almost 20 years. I do wear these shoes because I hike, and they're the Ultra. I like all their shoes, and I wish I had more of those. But I rarely wear shoes, and that's a problem sometimes because my feet kind of just like form to nothing. They just kind of spread out and get wider. But anyway, how do I stay warm in those? And that's a big deal. I wear a neoprene sock. I wear smart wool socks. I have them on right now, and I have a few pair of those. Those are the best socks for me anyway. If you have a better idea, put it in the comments. If you make socks, send me a pair. I'll try them out. I'll put them on here. These are the neoprene. Now, these are not wetsuit booties. These are full dry booties. And I put that over the smart wool sock on my foot, and then I go right into the Chaco. And it fits perfect. I can ride in snow, rain, whatever I want. Also, I have an over cover that I never use, which is buried in one of these bags. That's my footwear. Or the shoes, and I never need anything else. As far as my fingers go, hey, this goes for anybody, just living out, you know, if you're a nomad out there kind of roughing it, camping, whatever you're doing. I try to, you know, I'm a veteran mountaineer from the old days, 80s, 90s, and the 2000s, and kind of switched into bicycling. So I have a little knowledge of gear, and I get new gear sometimes. These are just regular, nice, warm gloves, you know, to wear. You can use your cell phone and all that with them. There's a smart wool sock. There's always one floating around. And then here's just like the socks, dry socks for the, just like the socks, dry gloves. Again, we're going raw, uncut here, so excuse all the mistakes, but it's fun. Those are great. Got to have something like that for the rain. I'll ride in the rain for a while, and then I'll find a place to hang out and get out of it. You know, everything gets wet. Any coat you have, any gear you have is going to get wet eventually. So I don't get top line gear anymore. I just get stuff because I ruin it so fast. I go through a lot of gear. Here's my head gear. I got that in Alaska a couple years ago for a construction job I was on, and 40 below zero. That worked pretty good, and that's a Rock Bros. And so that's what I wear over me in the morning if it's real cold. Then I have just a regular hat. All right, we're not going to get too far into that. The hands and feet for me, hands and feet. I can even wear shorts, and I'm cool. But I got to have hands and feet covered, and those things have proven to be great for me. So I'm going to go into a couple other things. Hey, I worked in Alaska as a guide. I even had a company years later when I was married where I took people on little hikes up on glaciers. You've seen the videos maybe. And they would fly up in a helicopter. I'd be up there. They would fly me up in the morning in the helicopter, leave me there all day. I take my kids to school, daycare, and I'd go get in the helicopter. I didn't fly it. I had a pilot. and we'd fly up, they'd drop me off and bring up a couple groups a day. This is long after my like expedition stuff where I was guiding trips for a month long, maybe more, in the Alaska Range, Himalayas, and other places around the world. And then when I got married, I kind of switched into tourism orientated type of thing. You know, that was it. It was like people all ages out on the surface ice of the glaciers. Check out my videos. So one of the things I've been talking about is this Roam. Now we're not selling anything here, or as far as like we're not promoting anything yet. I do have some things I haven't tried yet, like those radios from the video yesterday that I have just got from Amazon. I'm going to try those and see how they work from TD Radio, or TID Radio, TID Radio from China. I have a sat phone, and hopefully they'll give me a new one soon because that one's expensive. But the Roam, this is a Wi-Fi device. I use this if I don't want to use my hotspot, because my hotspot's fine, but it's taking up data, and I really can't run everything off my hotspot. Also, if I have other people around me. Now, I just don't want my phone being utilized for a hotspot. I have other things to do on the phone. So I bought this thing 2 years ago, and man, this thing's awesome. I never use my sat phone, rarely, and luckily I haven't had to. This thing's just a Wi-Fi device. It picks up the strongest tower in the area, and then I can get on the computer, like I'm filming on the computer right now. I can get on everything, iPad, phones, everything's going all at once. Never had any problem with it. And there's a video in here in the back catalog, and it's how I threw it up in a bag, in a pulley bag, and got it up in a tree real high, because up in the Sierras I couldn't get reception, but I could get it up in this tree and I got reception. And that's it. That's like my homemade cell tower. And then, you know, I can run everything. The other thing I use this for is like in my tent at night. It doesn't use the data while everything's off. It won't just keep running data. You can use it anywhere in the world. You just switch it. We'll talk about that some other time. And then here's something I've been doing, and I know some of you guys are going to go, whoa, you're paranoid, man, dude. Well, where I go sometimes, this thing lets me sleep a little better. And I don't use this thing all the time. It's a camera. It's a Wi-Fi camera. You can get the little tiny ones, right? But I don't want one of those because I can't put it on my my tripod, my little tripod that goes on my GoPro, screws into there, and I wish I had that right now. I can put it on a tree, or I can put it over somewhere and hide it and have this. And what'll happen is it just comes on when there's any movement. Right? And you know, after you set it, it's a little more sensitive to what it's tripping. Birds won't set it off, but for me, I've never had a problem with it. Raccoons, that's what I put it out there for. See if it's like raccoons or deer. Then I don't have to all I do is just make some noise and they run off. Depending on where I am, this thing comes in handy. Like if it's just a sketchy area, I'll just, nonchalantly go stash it somewhere, have it like on and, close to the tent fairly. And then when I'm laying in the tent and it's on this right here, it's Wi-Fi, I can actually see on my phone what's outside. I don't have to turn a light on. Here's the thing about tent camping for me, is I hate turning the light on, or I don't. Headlamp, your silhouette's in there moving around, and it's like, what? You're just like, everybody can see what you're doing, your shadow. If you don't know that already, that's what happens. Some tents are better. They're a little more secluded, but you can see, and so don't turn on your light. That's the last thing I would do, is turn on my light. And I try not to make any noise. And I hear the little notification, and I look at my phone, and it's just a raccoon or a deer standing out there. And sometimes I just won't do anything unless they're causing havoc, right? The other thing is, I do it sketchy areas for, people. And I do this on the bike in all the gear, hidden in all the gear when I go in a big store. And you can hide this thing. I have a fully loaded bicycle. It's pretty easy to get this thing put somewhere, and it blends in, and it has a wide view. It's like a wide angle, so it can see a lot. It can hear, and you can actually talk through it. If there's a deer out there, you go, hey, get out of here. Anyway, but you can turn all that stuff off. I won't say what company this is because there's hundreds of them, and I don't really want to advertise the one. Find one that works for you. You can maybe find one a little smaller, but if you do, make sure it has that hole. And I'll put it on the bike, and I'll be like in the produce aisle or something, and I'll be looking at it and, see if there's anybody messing with the bike, or wherever. I'll just go, oh, bike's fine, nobody's messing with it. And I can run out there real fast. There's somebody looking at it or messing with the lock. So, I don't know. I don't like cameras or surveillance. I'm not a big person. I don't back that up very much. But this kind of thing, or, saving a life, yes, I do believe in these kinds of things. Hey, this is everything I own, most everything I own when I'm traveling. So this camera, I kind of depend on it. And I don't use it in the tent unless, like I said, I'm in a weird area or something, or there's, a lot of raccoons that are going to harass me. So there's the sort of the basics. Now, I carry Central Command with me, and this is way bigger than you're going to take if you're a bike packer, but I tour and I go on long trips. So I've got all my power banks in here, and here's one other little safety thing. Here's a speaker. I never thought I'd carry a speaker because, I have earbuds if I want to listen to something at camp. I don't listen to anything when I'm riding, ever. Unless it's on here, maybe tucked away in a cup with an audio book, not music. But this thing I'll have in my tent, and I have on my phone, on YouTube, on a playlist, I have a bunch of growls that are like real deep. And usually I play them in a video, but I don't have them here right now. You can find them. And I selected and clipped a growl that on this thing, it's got a lot of bass. It'll scare the living you-know-what out of anything. And I'll have it in my tent. And if there's I've done it with deer and raccoon. Deer standing right outside and wouldn't move. And I just, made the growling dog. But there's a bear. But I use the dog. It's a deep, low. Use the deep, low. Not a dog yapping and barking in, because that's pretty obvious. A deep, low growl, and it sounds real, and you could use that for all sorts of stuff. Anyway, that's the other little thing I'll take on the long trips, and depending on where I'm going. Other thing in Central Command is, if you're like me, kind of a nomad guy, girl, out there, you all have cell phones, and if you're in your RV, of course, or car, you got radio, and that's cool. But if you're like me, I don't have a radio. I do on the phone. Hey, I got FM radio, cool. I always got the phone in case something happens. Well, what if my phone dies or something happens where the whole Wi-Fi thing goes down? No Wi-Fi, no, and so another bulky item. And you can get a smaller one, but this is kind of something that I'm attached to for many years. It's been up on glaciers in Alaska, all sorts of places. So AM, FM radio, regular batteries, or I can recharge it too, And I always have my solar panel, useless unless you have power banks. And I carry the power banks, a good one, Anchor, whatever you want. And I charge solar to power bank to phone. I never attach my phone to that. So there's just a few items, safety and just, electronics. And then I like this thing. This thing goes everywhere. It goes on the bike for dogs in South America, Mexico, wherever. Up here, I don't really use it too much. This will just get you in trouble in America. But anyway, but I have it just in case. And you know me, I've run into a few people. That guy I ran into a couple days ago, he was no harm. He was just on the border camping for whatever reason, like me. And he was just circling my camp. So I would have pulled this out before anything else. I carry protection, and I would use all these little things here before I ever got real serious, just so you know. And I think I lost some subscribers over some of that, but now you know who I am, and that's part of this video, so you can get to know really who I am. And yeah, I want to do the things you guys want me to do. I want suggestions, but I'm bringing everybody along on my journey, and going to take some detours and take suggestions. But this is my adventure. It's not owned by YouTube and the algorithm, so I'm going to lose people, and I'm going to gain them too. I already am. My GoPro, I take that too. So that's kind of the I don't know, some of the basics I take with me, and I just thought I'd have you join me for a little chat. This is not for everybody. A lot of people just want the stories and the all that kind of stuff, which I've got more of. I don't run out. And you know, like my mom used to say when we ran a campground in Southern California, out near Indian Dunes. That's a place where you ride motorcycles. They film MASH out there. I would go out and just talk to people when I was a kid on my bike in the campground. They came in every weekend. And I was a guide, so it's in my blood. Thanks, you guys. Please like and subscribe. And we'll talk to you in the next one. And we'll go over more gear and more of me. But, you know, I don't want to always talk about me. But you're getting a lot of that through the videos, I hope. Thanks.